Hello, hello. Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Departure Lounge. My name is Mary Rozemba, your host and coach with strategies for safe and legal migration. And it's 8 o'clock, it's Friday, and that means it's another edition of the Departure Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me, but you know the drill. So, the Departure Lounge is where we share strategies for migration and where we share, where I coach you through your own migration and help you find strategies that will best suit your profile so that you can thrive when you arrive in the countries that you're going to. So, today I am live. I know last couple of weeks I have given you guys some pre-recorded videos, pre-recorded material, simply because I am busy making something brand new and I'm so excited about this project that I'm working on and I can't wait to share it with you. It's a group coaching program, which means I will be able to coach a larger number of people because at the moment I have a strict number of people that I can take on as clients. So group coaching will help me be able to cater to a larger group. But while I'm catering to a larger group, I am also introducing a new coach, and she is a career coach. And we are doing this program together. We're creating it together. So that is something so exciting, and I can't wait to share it with you. So keep locked in. But since you're already here, hi, welcome. But if you're just joining us and if you haven't done so already, I need you to invite a friend. Tell them that the Departure Lounge is on, and we are migrating for success. But then also go to my YouTube channel at Mary Razemba and subscribe, and you will be able to get the latest updates, the latest news, the latest videos as they come in. I'm so glad to have you here. Hey, Megan. So today I'm live, guys. I'm here live. And the reason why I'm live is because I have so many things I want to clarify. Let me just. The technology is closing me again. And this only happens when I go live. All right. So we're talking about migration opportunities, and I'm inviting you right now to go and to go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And we are definitely going to figure this migration thing out together. All right, it's back. All right, then. Okay. So we're zooming into migration today, and I promise that I will be sharing with you tips on how to improve your migration profile. And if you haven't seen the other videos where I explain what your migration profile is, you need to go to my YouTube channel. I have them all there. Have a look. Go through it, because there I explain what your migration profile is. I explain about the pathways to migration, the 3 different pathways that there are to migration, how you make a migration roadmap, which means how you start to get on the road and get yourself going so that you can migrate. And we said our migration profile is made of your age, your sex, your education, and your family status. And today, I'm telling you how to boost your migration profile. And that's why I'm here live, actually, because I felt like it's a topic that I can't just tell you about. I need you to feel me. I need you to understand what I'm talking about. So if you have any questions, today I'm live. So you can send me your questions live, which means it'll be a little bit more than, I'll try and keep it short, but it might be a little bit more than a 3-minute episode like the last couple of weeks. Without any further ado, I think I will just jump in to ways of boosting your migration profile. We said your migration profile is your age, your sex, your education, and your family status. And we explained in the previous videos why these things are important. And naturally, you can't do anything about your age, your sex, and your family status, right? And I'm not encouraging people, because I know I talked about how it's a little bit harder to migrate when you are married with kids, but I'm not encouraging people to ditch their kids or get divorced. Of course not. But there are other things that you can do that will definitely increase your chances for migration. Before we get there, by the way, today I was listening to the radio here in Belgium, and they were talking about labor shortages. So if you did not know, this is important. This is why I'm doing this, okay? If you did not know, the world is currently facing one of the biggest labor shortages in eternity, in the history of mankind, in the history of industrialism, in the history of an economic society. We have a huge labor shortage, especially in the first world. Now, why is this important information? Because this is just my thinking, okay? But it's not just my thinking, but it's the way the world is thinking at the moment. So we have the Western world and the first world nations on this side with shortages. As in, they are too few nurses, there are too few mechanics, there are too few drivers, they don't have enough personnel. And on the other hand, we have third world countries with a surplus of graduates, with a surplus of people who are skilled, right? And the challenge is, actually, it's not really a challenge. It's just a matter of uh, putting yourself in a position to sell yourself and sell your skills as a third world skilled immigrant to the first world. And that is your migrational path. And that is your ticket to the first world. Okay. That is the way that you can migrate. So this is exactly what I coach. I am not an agent. I do not do the work for you. I will show you the way. I will show you how to do it. And why I show you how to do it instead of doing it for you is because there are no agents in the first world. And if somebody promises you that they're just going to just give me your papers in an envelope and give me some money, a stack of money, and I'll make sure everything is sorted, run, because 90% of the time it's not true. In the first world, people have to do their stuff for themselves. Even stinking rich people, they have to get up and go to the bank if they need to talk to somebody at the bank. They have to get up and do their work for themselves. And this is a mentality that I would like to see us as Africans changing. The idea that somebody has to do it for you. And that's why I coach. And that's why I am not an agent. So if you're looking for somebody to just give your money, throw your money at, and throw your papers, and get a phone call that everything is in order, go and get your a visa. Sorry, that's not me. I will show you how to do it. Right. So that being said, today I'm showing you, and I'm going to tell you about how you can improve your migration profile. The first thing that I think is the most important, and this is the closest to my heart, is the fact that you need to start as soon as possible. I will give you a metaphor. It's one of my favorite metaphors. So there's a frog, right? And you take a frog and you put it in a pot with water, right? Normal temperature water. And you put it on the fire. And then you start to increase the heat. You turn on the heat, right? Of the fire. And you start to boil that water. You start to warm that water. What happens is a frog has this natural ability to adapt to the temperature of water, right? So at the end of the day, the temperature increases, but the frog says, I can handle it. It's getting warm, but I can handle it, right? Then the temperature increases a couple of degrees more, and it says, oh yeah, you know what? I can handle it. I can still handle it, up to a point where the water gets so hot and the frog it's really warm now, but it's like I need to jump out. But at this point, its muscles are so weak, it's so tired from the heat, it can't jump anymore. And that's how it ends up being boiled. Okay, this is a metaphor, guys. I know you're probably sitting there thinking, wondering, why is she talking about frogs? But this is a metaphor for life, okay? Uh, any situation, no matter how difficult it is, if you're in it for long enough, it will get comfortable, okay? Any situation. Let me give you an example. If um, if you grew up in Zimbabwe in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, for example, electricity, there was a time when there were no power shortages. And I am old enough to remember, I'm an 80s baby. So I grew up in the 90s, and in the 90s were great in Zimbabwe. Okay, there were no power shortages. All right. And then a little bit later, ESAP came and things started to get tight. And then in the end, there were power shortages. But you get used to them. You started to get used to them. You know, you're like, okay, oh, the electricity goes once every, I don't know, month or two, and you know they give you a heads up, so it's not so bad. Then it moves on to a point where electricity is gone every 2 times every week. But still, it's difficult, it's annoying, but you get used to it. And then it moves on to a point where electricity, you get a schedule for when there will be electricity. Do you understand what I mean? So, what I'm trying to say to you is if the shoe is pinching you now, if there is discomfort now, maybe it's a great time to start thinking about moving. Don't be like the frog who will just keep adjusting to your difficulties, to the problems, to the challenges as they come up. Uh, and then the moment that it gets too hard, you're boiling. It's done. So that's why my number one tip on how to boost your profile is start to act now. If you have aspirations, if you have hopes, if you have ever thought to yourself, I want to live somewhere else, I want to go and live in another country, I want to immigrate, I want to work in America, in Europe, in wherever it is that you want to work. And if this thought has ever run across your mind, you need to act. Act as quickly as possible because time is not guaranteed. And that's a truth. I used to be young. This is me, the gray haired, and I do have quite a few gray hairs now. This is me, the young gray haired Mary. At one point, I was 16. I never thought I would see the day. This year, I turned 37. Okay. So time will always move. So if you are uncomfortable, do it now. Act as quickly as possible. So, number one tip, start as soon as possible because time waits for no man. Okay? Number one. Right. Number two, which is equally as important, is develop yourself. Okay, I'll tell you this: there's nothing as heartbreaking for me as a coach, as an African, as a Zimbabwean, as a mother, as a woman, to be contacted by people who had so much potential, but they didn't build upon their skills. What do I mean? I mean, this is a context in the first world. Even when you go through university, if you don't build upon your degree with extra training, with extra courses, with extra activities that support the direction in which you're growing, after a time, your degree becomes null and void. Um, I'll give you an example. I am a nurse and I got my degree, my nursing degree. But if I don't do training and if I don't practice, I lose my nursing license. So, what am I trying to say? Develop yourself. When it comes to your education, you might be a graduate, you might be a master's degree holder, you might be, I don't know, a PhD holder. But if you don't practice and if you're not developing yourself in that direction, your skills do not mean anything. They will be null and void. It'll be very difficult to go to an employer and say, listen, I have a gap of 5 years because yeah, in Zimbabwe they didn't have any jobs for me as an engineering student or graduate. Okay, um, the question will still remain, what did you do about it? What did you do with your time? I guess it kind of breaks down to the same concept that I was telling you guys about time. Use your time wisely. And this message is especially for people who are in that age group, for example, of 18 to 27, because at this point in your life, you have so many opportunities available for you. Grab them, guys, okay? Don't be like that frog that's going to get boiled in that water. So grab these opportunities. Take it seriously. Develop yourself. Build on your knowledge. Build on your skills. Build your training. Have a passion for what you do. That's something else. Um, you know, Western people are interested more in your passion and the passion that you have for your expertise than they are in actually just the qualification. So if you have a degree, for example, in veterinary sciences, for example, you're a vet, right? But you're not passionate about it, and you can't show any passion about it, then it'll be very difficult to convince people that, yeah, you actually love what you're doing and you would be a great fit, and there is a reason to move you from where you are right now to a more developed country. So that motivation, understand that passion gets you allies, guys. It doesn't matter what you're passionate about. But if you have passion for the right things, you attract these people to you, and these people will want to have you in their group. That strength in numbers, that flocking in numbers idea, okay? That's what passion is about. So develop yourself, build on your passion, build on your skills, build on your experiences, and get better. Here's something else, though. Even if you can't find work, and I understand that there aren't any jobs in most third world countries, unemployment rates are really high. But even if you can't find work, something that would always look great and it'll always come to your advantage is volunteer work. Trust me, when you have, and you can prove that you have experience as a volunteer, and you don't mind giving your time and energy simply out of goodwill, simply out of passion, it becomes very attractive to Western recruiters. They look at it and they think, this person has got something, this person has got drive. The love for humanity will always take you a little bit further. People will be attracted to you, and people will want to help you simply because you have that love for humanity, that you're practicing your skills in the development of humanity. Because at the end of the day, when you look at all of these companies, and it doesn't matter which company you talk about, at the bottom line, in their mission statements, they want to convince you that they do what they do for other people. So the question you need to ask yourself is, okay, yes, I can't find a job. Yes, I can't practice my skill. Yes, I can't do this and I can't do that. But what am I doing for somebody else? What am I doing for fellow mankind? What am I doing for humanity as a whole? We all have that responsibility. And that is something that if you put on your CV, if you put in your profile, if you add it to your profile, it will give you a lot of chances. Okay, so I've mentioned two. All right. By the way, today's broadcast is live. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to shoot, because I'm dedicating a little bit more time today. And if you miss this broadcast and maybe you watch it after the fact, I need you to go to my YouTube channel and to subscribe. Even if you are watching right now and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because there I give you all this information. And by the way, this is the information that I am using to preempt my coaching package. So subscribe. We're talking about boosting your migration profile. I've already given you guys tips. We're on 2. We're currently on number 2. And we're talking about building your migration profile. And remember, if you go back to the first videos, we said your migration profile is what will open the gates of opportunity for you when it comes to migrating. So it'll determine which opportunities are available to you. It'll determine which countries you can migrate to. It'll determine in what function. It'll determine a lot of things about how you will be able to build and start your life in a foreign country. So, and we said your migration profile is based on your age, your sex, your education, and your family status. And I've already mentioned before that you can't change your age. You can't change your sex, you can't change your family status, but you can do something about your education and you can do something about your character. And especially when it comes to age, my first tip was start right now, guys. Time is ticking, tick tock, tick tock. So start right now, start as soon as possible. All right, my tip number three. My tip number three to boosting your migration profile is pick a direction. Oh, this one is important, guys. Okay, this one is important. I will tell you why. Okay, we've just talked about building on your knowledge, building on your education, building on your passion. Um, at the moment, right? Healthcare is pretty big. Um, I know that there is a mass hysteria gripping our people right now. And I'm jokingly calling it a mass hysteria because at this point in time, everybody thinks, okay, you know what? If I want to leave my country, if I want to leave Africa, I need to study nurse aid. I need to become a nurse aid, and I'm going to go. And they fail to take into consideration the age, they fail to take into consideration the experience, they fail to take into consideration the family status, they fail to take into consideration their migration profile. And it's sad because a lot of people are setting themselves up for disappointment. And that's why I'm saying you need to pick your direction. Okay, now understand that if you have been in the accounting business, if you have been in the finance business for close to 10 or 15 years, right? And suddenly the wave of mass hysteria, of wave of let's go and do nurse aid hits you, right? Understand that you will not be convincing. To be honest, some of these opportunities are age bound. Some of these opportunities are person bound. Some of these opportunities are experience bound. Okay. So not all of us are meant to be nurse aides. Okay. Not all of us are meant to go into healthcare. Not all of us are meant to do nursing. Okay. So that's what I mean by pick a direction. Do not be one of those people who just jump on the bandwagon. Have a look at what can I do? What are my capabilities? What are my abilities? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? For example, um, I know a few people who say they can't stand the sight of blood. Well, then nurse aid is probably not something that you want to do, right? So, do you understand what I mean when I say pick your direction? But what else are you good at? Guys, the shortage in labor is not just limited to healthcare. Engineering, and I said this before, if you go back to my lives, that's why it's so important. It's so important. I know, I nag about this, but it's so important. Go and subscribe to my channel because I talk about this stuff, okay? So, for example, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, those are really big. So, are you a scientist of any sort? Biochemistry, chemistry, physics, or environmental sciences. Are you a scientist? Are you into technology, IT? Are you into engineering, auto engineering, electrical engineering, and mathematics? Are you into statistics or something? But these are all fields that are so big at the moment. So you don't have to give up on your particular training to jump on that bandwagon of nursing. Guys, we're not all meant to be nurses, okay? And there are so many more opportunities. I mentioned in the beginning that there was an article today, they were talking about the labor shortages. Some of the most, and it's just a matter of time. Trust me, it's a matter of time. But some of the most um, undervalued professions in our African contexts are actually on the shortage list. Carpenters, you understand what I mean? Auto electricians, electricians, house electricians, handyman, they're actually on the shortages list. So pick your direction. Make sure you pick something that is a fit for you. And then, most importantly, going back on the point that I just told you guys under self development, use your passion, build your skill, build your knowledge, build your education in that direction, in that particular direction. Build your experience, and you will be noticed. Okay, it will become noticeable, so that when somebody says to you, okay, there are opportunities, you can come here and work as a carpenter, for example. You have a portfolio that shows your handiwork. You have a portfolio that shows in a professional way, that shows that this is the things that you are able to do, this is the things that you are qualified and passionate about. So pick a direction. Don't just go with the wind. Do not fall into bandwagon mentality. Okay, it's not necessary. We don't all need to be nurses. Take it from a nurse. We don't all need to be nurses. Okay. Number 4, which is also very important, by the way, we're going to talk about mindset. Now, I'm going to tell you guys today. I work in healthcare. I am a nurse, and almost every day I'm confronted by somebody who has a comment about the color of my skin. It's not racism. Is it racism? It's not racism. I prefer to look at it as ignorance. A lot of people are ignorant, and that's just the truth. But a lot about mindset is, how do you internalize, how do you see things that happen to you? Okay, so for example, if somebody says to me, oh my god, your skin is so dark, and your curls, how did you get so dark? My running joke is to say, listen, I spent a lot of money at the sauna. Okay, at the tanning salon. You do not want to know how much I've spent at the tanning salon. Somebody else might take it as something that's racist and condescending, but I look at it as something that's ignorant. They're not used to it. Okay, but this breaks down to mindset. What do you think about yourself? Because if what you think about yourself at the end of the day is what's the most important, what somebody else thinks about you is not important. But how does this help build your migrational profile is what I think you're asking. And the idea is to show yourself off as a boss. Forget and ditch that victim mentality. Okay, we have a lot of victim mentality as Zimbabweans, as Africans. We have a lot of victim mentality. A lot of times we're screaming, poor us. And it's not like it's unjustified, because there's a lot of things that have happened to our people and oppressions that are not fair. Yes. Did it happen? Yes. But we can't live our lives as victims, and understand that nothing is more unattractive as than somebody who plays the victim. Okay, if somebody is always blaming somebody else or something else for their circumstances, then they kind of repel other people. And this is a fact. When you want to migrate as an African person, first of all, you have to look at yourself with love and with pride, okay? Because that idea that we were taught of saying, oh, please, boss, give me a job, it doesn't work in the Western world. You have to, on the other hand, think about it in this way. Yeah, damn, I am all that. I am the S and all that, okay? You need me. So what can you give me, because you need me? Because that's the truth. To be honest, when there's labor shortages and the labor is in Africa, they need us. That's the truth. But I hope what I need is for you to realize it, okay? And then carry yourself in that way. It breaks down to even when you are offered a job, when you're negotiating salaries. And a lot of people think, yeah, I'm going to, just because I want to leave Africa, I'm going to ask for the lowest salary. I'm going to ask for the most minimum salary so they can't say no. All it says for them is, why are you so desperate? So let's not be desperate. Let's be strong. Let's be confident. Let's be respectful, but never desperate. And even if you are desperate, never show it, okay? Even if you are vulnerable and weak and you doubt yourself, never show it. Never show it online, never show it in a CV, never show it in an interview, never show it, full stop. And that's how you will build your migrational profile. You'll understand why I'm telling you all these things at the end, because my last point is very important. But building on that, mindset. So let's figure out our mindset. Let's have a strong mindset. Let's have the mindset of winners, like conquerors. Let's have the mindset of go-getters. Let's go and do this and get things done. But also let's have, let's drop that dependency. That's why I say I am not an agent, guys. If you need an agent, look for somebody else, because I'm not an agent. And I've alluded to the fact that some people think they can put their papers. I'm just going to say, okay, so what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And they'll put their papers in an envelope and they'll put a stack of money on top of the envelope and they'll say, here, Mary, go and do it for me. But that's not it. And that's why I coach, because I'm trying to help you as well get rid of that dependency mindset, which is something that is not our fault, but it's inherent to our culture. And we need to lose it, because the Western world will be very hostile for you if you have that dependency mentality, if you have that dependency mindset. Trust me, it'll be very hostile. And as a coach, I talk about learning to thrive in the first world, learning to thrive as an immigrant, and there is no thriving when dependency is in the picture. So when it comes to mindset, guys, you need to strengthen yourself. You need to be confident. You need to be independent. You need not to be a victim. Do not tell your sob story and oh, poor me scenarios, not to the world, not to the internet, not to potential employers, not even to, if you're applying for scholarships, not even to the scholarship office, okay? Don't sell your sob story, all right? Right. So we've talked about start as soon as possible. Number one, you need to get going. Time is money, and we don't have both. So let's get going. Number one. Number two, we need to develop ourselves. We need to build on our skills. We need to build on our knowledge. We need to build on our passion and our experience. And we need to help our fellow man. So volunteer is very big. Number three, pick a direction. Don't go on the bandwagon, guys. Leave that bandwagon. Wave at everybody who is on that bandwagon and say, okay, I see you. Bye. I'm doing my thing. I've picked my road. I've picked my migrational path, and I'm going to go for it. And then that killer mindset that says, you know what, bring it on. I am going to conquer. I am a conqueror. I am going to get this done. Okay. We're not victims. We're not dependent. We are confident, we are capable, and we are strong. Yes, and they need us. Remember that. My last point, because my throat is starting to hurt. So my last point, I can talk for days, you guys know this. But my last point is, oh, so important, guys. Your digital footprint. Hello. Your digital footprint. What is your digital footprint? It's your social media. It's where you spend your time online. It's all the websites that get associated with your name when you are Googled. Why is this important? Because internet is so big here. It is so big here. The moment that you submit a CV and they think, this person looks interesting, this person has got what it takes in terms of character, in terms of education, in terms of this, in terms of that, they will look you up. 98% of the time, they are going to look for you. They're going to look for you. and they're going to look for you on all social media platforms. And one might think, what does my Facebook or my Instagram or my whatever it is have to do with a job that I'm applying for? Well, it has everything to do with it, because teamwork and character and conduct are really big in the first world, because what you represent is a piece of the bigger corporate brand. So if you are, for example, looking for a job with Deloitte, and you are conducting yourself in a way that is unfavorable, it's a potential lawsuit waiting to happen. You know how people are like trigger sensitive at the moment on the internet. So these are the things that will mean that if they see it in you, if you look like you have this potential for controversy, if your digital footprint is not desirable, it might cost you. It might cost you an opportunity. If your digital footprint is non-existent, and then there's some people who think, if I don't post my controversy and I am controversial as a ghost profile somewhere, it's okay. It doesn't work either. Why? Because if I can't find you online in your presence, you don't have passion. That's what it means. You don't have passion. You're not passionate about anything. Okay? You don't exist. I don't know what kind of a person you are. I don't know what kind of a player you will be in a team, in an international team. So it makes it even difficult for me to trust and say, okay, going on a CV that I have received, I'm going to hire this person, or I'm going to invite them 20,000 kilometers across the world to come and work at my company and represent my brand and represent my company's vision. It makes it very difficult. So that's why passion is so important. So I need you guys to mind your digital footprint. This will help you boost your migrational profile, because understand something. There are people with the resources to hire or to import a cleaner if they wanted to. There are people with those kind of resources to import a maid if they wanted to. But they will never import somebody who they can't relate to, who they can't see any passion in. And I know it's maybe a far-fetched idea, or it seems like a far-fetched idea, but I'm just giving you guys a heads up as my family. You know what I mean? I'm giving you guys a heads up. Digital footprint is so important. What name do you use on your social media? What photos do you use on your social media? And I'm not saying now you have to go and act like somebody else on social media, but there are settings as well. You can make some things private. You can make some things visible. I was laughing with with my fellow coaches, and we were talking about somebody who was Googled by a recruiter. And this guy was applying for a senior level position, blue collar job. And when they Googled him, they found a Facebook page with his name. And when they Googled interests, they found, I love big black bums. I don't make this up. I mean it seriously. Yeah? I love big black bums, or big gigantic man lover, or something like that. But it was ridiculous. And at the end of the day, they look at this person and they're like, even though their CV looks great, even though their motivational letter looks great, even though they might have, a little bit maybe past the first couple of interviews or interview stages, rounds of interviews, their personality and their all-round personal branding, it doesn't match, it doesn't work. Okay, so your digital footprint, guys, if you think it'll be controversial, please make it private. Okay, post whatever you want, but if you think this part of you will be controversial, make it private. Okay, right. So we're going to recap, but before we recap, because I'm running out of my voice. I love talking to you guys, but I run out of voice. Okay, but before we recap, guys, you need to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Share this video with somebody who needs to hear it, somebody who needs to know it, somebody who did not know about the migration coach. Share them and invite them to my page, invite them to my YouTube. Join me on LinkedIn, and let's talk, let's connect. I'm just going to read your messages because for the first time, I am live today. Hi, Blessing. Hi, Megan. Hi, Pilo. I'm loving it. Thank you so much. And Precious Mufaro Chimasha says, hello, Mary, can I come to your inbox? Most definitely. You can come to my inbox or you can send me a WhatsApp message. The number is on my YouTube. The number is on my YouTube, but it's everywhere. The number is everywhere. The number is also on my Facebook page. So send me a WhatsApp and I'm willing to talk. Okay. This brings us to the end of today's session of the Departure Lounge. And we were talking about boosting your migrational profile. And I will just do a recap of the 5 tips that I gave you. Number 1, start as soon as possible. Remember the story of the frog in hot water. You don't want to be that frog. Don't wait until the water is boiling for you to make the jump, because time is ticking. You're getting older. Your skills are not getting any fresher. So make sure you make that jump as soon as possible. Keep moving, okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is develop yourself. So that's exactly in the sense of keep moving. Develop your educational qualifications. Develop your knowledge. Build on your knowledge. Discover your passion, build your experience, and volunteer. Have a heart for humanity. It doesn't matter what your field is, but as long as you share with other people and you contribute to humanity, it'll definitely boost your migration profile. Number 3, pick a direction. Don't get on that bandwagon, okay? Leave the bandwagon. Pick your road, pick your lane, and stick to it, okay? Let the others do what they're doing and let the wind blow and take them this way, and then let it blow and take them that way. You know where you're going, you know your qualities, you know who you are, and you're going to stick to your lane, okay? Very important. Number 4 is mindset. You are not the lost. You are not the tail. You are the head. Be confident. Be independent. Be strong. Realize that the world needs you, okay? And carry yourself that way with so much love and respect and dignity about yourself. Number 5, beware of your digital footprint, okay? What are you posting? What are you representing online? What is your personal brand? Who are you online? Okay, because understand that besides your CV and motivational letter and a 30-minute talk, recruiters and other organizations abroad will want to know who is the person behind the CV, and they're going to Google, Dr. Google. So make sure that you have a digital footprint that is favorable, that is passionate for your personal values, and that is clean, please. All right? Okay. That's about it for today. I have been talking for 40 minutes. I am really good at this talking thing. I think I should ask my mother at what age I started talking, because I think I just came out like, all right. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Remember to go to my YouTube channel. Remember to like and to subscribe. And before I go, I want to tell you about something exciting that's coming, okay? I am going to be doing a show called Diaspora Diaries. Basically, I'm talking to fellow diasporians who are already in the first world. We're talking about how they got there, and we're talking about the major challenges about life in the diaspora. And I think people back home, they need to hear this, because we're talking about real life and real migration without all those, fluff and fancy stories that you see online. I know everybody thinks the moment that you get to diaspora, you can start popping bottles and picking money from the money trees along the streets, but it's not like that. So we're going to be hearing the real stories in an upcoming podcast called the Diaspora Diaries Talk Show. All right. Until then, subscribe to be kept in the loop, invite your friends, and I will see you next week. And next week is my last episode of season 1 of the Diaspora Diaries. And we are building momentum. We're trying to figure out how can we build momentum? How do we deal with problems and challenges as they come? We are talking a lot about the mindset aspect because, to be honest, we're educated enough. We are strong and physically healthy. We are capable. But a lot of the time, what holds us back, the only reason why we sometimes feel like we are at a lesser and disadvantage from our European counterparts is the mindset. And that's why we're talking about it in next week's episode of Building Momentum on the Diaspora Diaries. Okay, until then, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for following. Remember to like, to subscribe, and I will see you next week on another episode and the last episode of the Departure Lounge. Bye. Have a great evening.